So, where are we? Well, we're still revising, as you know. The last big piece of work I set you was that on Dr. Frost, those 40 revision questions. Some of you have managed to finish that, so a fantastic effort. Lots of you have made good progress on it, and one or two of you haven't started it yet. So just make sure you know how to log in to Dr. Frost. Okay. Now, really, today's lesson is if you haven't finished that, I want you to go and press on and get as much of that done as you can. So you're not allowed to move on to the next task until you've done a good go at those 40 questions. So before we move on, I just wondered if there are any of those questions in particular that you struggled with and you'd quite like me to just go through now. So I've got the questions here. So please do feel free to unmute and ask me if you know there was a particular question on there that you would like me to go through. If you're not aware, if you don't have it to hand now, but you know there was one, what I suggest you do, please, just drop me a quick post saying, oh, can you run through question 8 or can you run through question 20? And then what I'll do, I'll go live again when I get it through. And then if you guys are there, you can choose to join in and listen, or you can choose not to. So just because you don't go and mention it now doesn't mean that I don't, I'm going to be cross if you ask me to talk you through it a bit later. So I'm anticipating a lot of this lesson today. Some of you will be completing this or progressing it, and others of you will be asking me to go through specific questions, and I'm totally happy to go through any. So feel free just to give me one, or to say, can you do the following 5, or whatever you like. So that's really the main objective today. Now, some of you have managed to complete all 40, which is a fabulous effort, and I don't want you being left with nothing to do. So just for a bit of fun, what I have done, I've set up as an assignment on Dr. Frost a past paper, and that looks like this. So you can, if you want to, you can go and download this if you wanted to, just to do your workings on. But I've also obviously set it up on Dr. Frost as a task so that you can just input your answers into Dr. Frost and it will automatically mark them. So I've set it up as a homework rather than as an assessment, so that if you get the answer wrong, first of all, you get a second bite of the cherry, and if you did get all the way through it, you then can go back and answer any further questions again. Now, I just want to talk you through what this is. This is a real life GCSE paper. All right, this is the actual GCSE that they took in 5th form in May 2018. Now, one thing I just need to draw your attention to is the foundation paper. Now, that's going to be a paper that none of you guys end up doing. Okay, it tends to be for the pupils who find maths a real challenge, really difficult. So it tends to be sort of our set 4, set 5 kids by the time we get to 5th form. So it's comparatively straightforward. So I don't want you working your way through this and thinking, gosh, this is easy. I'm brilliant. I can already do 5th form work. You should be able to do some of this, because if you're good at maths and you're bright and and you're in 1st form set 2, then there's no reason at all you won't be able to do a lot of this. Okay, now just to give you a rough guide, if you could get about 50% in this, you can already go and tell your mum and dad that you could pass your GCSE. Okay, because if you get about 50% in this, I can't remember exactly, about 55, I think. If you can get about 55% in this, you would already get a grade 4, which is passing your GCSE. And if you could actually get, say, 70% in this, you would actually get a grade 5 in your GCSE. Now, because it's an easier paper, the grade 5 is the best you can get in it. Okay, but if you're not great at maths, if it's not really your thing, to end up with a 5 in it, it's a really good effort. Okay, so this is just a bit of fun. This is nothing serious. If you get through some of it, that's great. If you get through all of it, that's even better. Of course, there will be bits in it we haven't covered yet. Even though you're bright kids, you're going to struggle to answer questions that we haven't covered at all. Okay, but if you just start at the beginning and work your way through, just skip any that you can't do, and it would just be quite fun for you to be able to turn around and say to people at home, do you know what, I could already pass my GCSE, or I could nearly pass my GCSE. All right, so that's the plan. So in short, please go and finish off those 40 questions. Whether you finish them or not, please feel free to say, Mr. Withers, can you just run through question 28, please? And I will just go live again and go through that question live and record it for those of you who don't tune in live. But if you've done all 40 in those, all right, or you've done as many of them as you can, feel free to have a go at this foundation paper. And what I'm thinking is, because you can see it's a 2-hour paper. I'm hoping you can see it. Can you see it? I can't actually see the red mark around it. Can somebody tell me whether you can see the paper or not?
Yeah.
Oh, you can see it. Good. Good. Thank you. Thank you for confirming that. It's just I didn't have the little red box around it, so I was just concerned for a minute. So yes, because it's a 2-hour paper, that's kind of. I mean, you won't be able to do it all, so it won't take you 2 hours. But we'll make this 2 lessons worth. Okay, so this will be today's lesson and also Wednesday's lesson. I mean, we'll still go live just to touch base and say hello. And some of you might have decided you want to ask me to answer some of those 40 questions if you get stuck, on Wednesday as well. So that's absolutely fine. So that's it, guys. So I'm going to go and leave you to carry on with those 40 questions on Dr. Frost, or make a start on this past paper also on Dr. Frost. I just needed to go and reset Sophie's password. Has anybody got any of those 40 questions they'd like me to actually do live literally this minute? No? Okay, right, I'll leave you to it, guys. So do post through if you want any help with those 40 questions. I'm just going to go, I'm going to stop the recording now. So you guys get on with either the 40 questions or that past paper and keep in touch. I'll be keeping an eye out on Teams. Okay, bye, guys.
Mr. Withers?
Yes.
My password still won't let me in, but I'm still able to get onto my work.
Well, that's weird. I'm not sure how you can get onto your work.
And it works fine.
Oh, it's working fine.
Yeah, but it just doesn't accept my password. But I can get onto the normal stuff.
Okay. Right. As long as you put my answers in, it's feeding through into my mark book, until I can see it, then that's absolutely fine, Sophie, isn't it? Just so I know, so I can just see if it's working at my end. What are you just about to do? Are you going to be working on the 40 questions, or are you going to be starting that foundation paper?
I'm starting the other ones. I finished the 40 ones.
Okay. Well, what I'll do, Sophie, I'll just keep an eye out and just check that as you just start at the beginning to do your first answer or two, that I can actually see it, and I'll just send a little message through on Dr. Frost, on your question 1, just saying, yep, Sophie, that's all working fine.
Okay. Thank
you.
Okay.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Good luck.